Picture this: a fighter bomber so heavily armored that it once flew home with half a wing blown off and a 30mm sized hole straight through the fuselage. And both pilots walked away laughing. Here's the part that will shock you. This jet wasn't designed in the 21st century with all our fancy stealth and fly-by-wire. It was born in the dying days of the Soviet Union to replace a 1950s bomber. Yet right now, in 2025, it's dropping smart glide bombs with better accuracy than most NATO aircraft had 5 years ago. So here's the question burning in every aviation geek's mind. How did an airplane that looks like a drunk Su-27 flanker turn into the most feared strike platform of the Ukraine war? Stay until the very end because I'm going to show you why some Pentagon analysts quietly admit the Su-34 is more dangerous in actual combat than the F-15E Strike Eagle it was built to hunt. If you're ready for that truth bomb, smash the subscribe button right now and let's roll. By the late 1970s, the Soviet Air Force was staring at a nightmare. Their workhorse tactical bomber, the Su-24 Fencer, was fast becoming a death trap against new Western fighters and radar-guided missiles. NATO was deploying F-15s, Patriot batteries, and AWACS everywhere. Moscow needed a plane that could penetrate hundreds of miles behind enemy lines, deliver devastating strikes, and, crucially, bring its crew home alive even after taking brutal battle damage. The Sukhoi Design Bureau took the most successful air superiority fighter of the era, the legendary Su-27 Flanker, stretched it, widened it, armored it, and turned it into something completely new. A dedicated long-range strike jet with the heart of a fighter and the toughness of a tank. The Su-34 Fullback was born, a plane that would make NATO planners lose sleep for the next 4 decades. The first time Western intelligence saw clear photos of the Su-34 prototype in 1990, analysts literally thought it was a hoax. 2 pilots sitting side by side like they're flying a Cessna, not a Mach 2 bomber. The entire cockpit is encased in a welded titanium bathtub, almost 20 millimeters thick. That's thicker armor than most modern IFVs. Behind the seats, there's a small corridor where the crew can stand up fully, stretch, eat food in a tiny galley, and even use a proper toilet during 10-hour missions. Yes, the Su-34 is the only frontline combat jet in the world with a working toilet. The West laughed and called it the flying camper van. Russian pilots called it survival. When you're loitering over hostile territory for hours waiting to hit a bridge or a headquarters, comfort becomes combat effectiveness. The Su-34's first taste of war came during the Second Chechen War, dropping iron bombs in the mountains and learning hard lessons. It returned in 2008 over Georgia and completely dominated the skies in 5 days. But the plane truly became a legend starting September 2015 in Syria. Over the next 6 years, Russian Su-34s flew more than 35,000 combat sorties, delivered over 50,000 munitions, and maintained a mission-capable rate that embarrassed many NATO air forces. It was in Syria that Russia rolled out the KA-500S, and KAB-1500L guided bombs, their equivalent of the JDAM and laser-guided pavways, turning the Fullback into a genuine precision strike weapon that could hit a moving column from 40,000 feet in total darkness. 8 tons of weapons. That's more bombs than a World War II B-17 could carry. A combat radius of over 1,100 kilometers without refueling, and almost 4,000 kilometers with tanks. The ability to dash at Mach 1.8 when needed, yet loiter for hours like an attack helicopter. Electronic warfare pods so powerful they can blind entire SAM batteries. And that titanium armor has saved countless lives. There are photographs of Su-34s returning to base with tail sections shredded by man pads, yet still flying straight and level. In Ukraine right now, upgraded Su-34Ms are launching UMPC glide bomb kits that turn old dumb bombs into 70-kilometer standoff weapons, allowing them to strike deep behind the front line without ever entering the envelope of short-range air defenses. Of course, it's not perfect. The Su-34 has a radar cross-section the size of a barn. Top speed is only Mach 1.8, and when pilots get complacent and fly predictable patterns at medium altitude, Western long-range systems like Patriot and NASAMS have taken a heavy toll. At least 28 confirmed losses in Ukraine so far. The avionics, while continuously upgraded, still don't match the latest active electronically scanned array radars on the F-35 or even the Rafale. But war isn't fought on spreadsheets, and raw survivability counts for a lot when bases are few and attrition is high. Russia fields around 130 Su-34s today, with the production line in Novosibirsk still running despite sanctions. Algeria took delivery of 14 in 2016 to 2018 and reportedly rates them higher than their Su-30 MKAS for deep strike missions. Quiet export talks are ongoing with Iran and possibly Egypt. In Russian service, the jet has become the backbone of frontline aviation, doing everything from battlefield interdiction to maritime strikes with anti-ship missiles. Put it head-to-head with the F-15E Strike Eagle, and the Su-34 carries more, flies farther, and protects its crew better at roughly one-third the price. Against the F-35, it obviously loses in stealth and networking, but costs less than half and can lift 3 times the weapon load. In a long, ugly war of attrition with limited airfields and constant missile threats, brute force, range, and armor suddenly look very attractive. That's exactly why the Su-34 is still evolving, while many thought it would be obsolete by now. So here's the uncomfortable truth the West didn't want to admit. The Su-34 Fullback, the jet with the toilet, the side-by-side seats, and the 1970s heritage, has become one of the most combat-effective strike aircraft on Earth in 2025. Sometimes evolution favors the tough over the sleek. If your mind is properly blown, destroy that like button. Tell me in the comments which jet you want me to butcher next. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next week we're going somewhere even darker and faster. Thanks for flying with me today. Stay curious, stay armed with knowledge, and I'll catch you in the next one.